Hey, welcome to New Jump City, everybody, where we recap the week in American and Japanese sequential art. I am your host, Christian, the unbiased king, Espinal. And joining me through Discord, as usual, it is the man, the myth, the legend, my partner in crime, the tank top sage, is Joshua Gangsta Time Cole.
Well, it's called partner, but it should be called Gangsta Time.
Yo, what up, Chris? What's good, everybody listening?
Ooh, yeah. Also joining us, it is the man behind the curtain, the genius, the edgelord, Big News Brian.
なんというビッグニュース
What's up, nerds?
Hey, we're back with an early one, recording on a Sunday for like the first time in years, I think. Well, maybe like 2 years. I think we've probably done one Sunday episode before. But we're here, doing it a little early for you guys on this Labor Day weekend. I hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday. I know I have. It's been a good time. But yeah, we got a lot of manga going on right now. We got a lot to talk about. So let's not waste any time. Let's cut these formalities and get into plugs. You can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok as well. You could. Yeah, that's it. Oh, check out the Shweekly, I guess. I should be talking about that more. I have a podcast called The Shweekly that is a comedy parody of the New York Times' daily podcast. And if that interests you at all, check it out. We worked really hard on the first season. We're working hard on the second season as we speak. So yeah, look that up. Josh, where can they find you?
On Instagram at JDCole_37 and on formerly known as Twitter at New Jump City Josh.
I think you cut out when you said X.
Oh, I said X too strongly.
Yeah,
X.
probably.
X.
X.
It's ECKS X.
ECKX.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to know. Brian, where can they find you?
You can find me at b.esp on both Instagram and Twitter. If you ever want to catch me when I'm streaming, you can find me at twitch.tv/itspunchline.
Hoo-wee! You can also follow the show at New Jump City on Twitter. X, Instagram, and TikTok. Check us out on that. Email us at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about. We would love to answer it on our pre-show chat show that we do every week, that we put out a couple days after the main show. It's basically our pre-podcast talk that we just like put up, where we talk about various things that are not comic related and some comic related. So check us out on that, and we answer questions on there. Email us there. Comment, of course, if you guys want to comment your questions. You can comment under any video of the podcast that is available on YouTube, whether it's the full version of the podcast or the little highlights that we used to do back in the day when I had a computer that I could do that on. I'm still working on it. We don't have video capability quite yet, but I still put up the podcast regardless every week. So check it out, subscribe, like, share. The algorithm doesn't really look kindly on videos that don't have a true visual element to it. So if you guys could keep us afloat on that, that'd be super cool. Plus, we do the really good chapter of the week polls on there that we did do this week. So check it out. Subscribe to us there. If you prefer audio podcasts, because that's basically what this is right now, you can check us out on Instagram, YouTube. But you can check it out, not Instagram and YouTube. Well, you can, but Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Pandora, anywhere you listen to podcasts, we're pretty much on there. So check us out on that.
Mama Show You.
What?
Mama Show You.
Oh yeah, Mommy Show You is our old producer Brian Boss's name for what he wanted to do with his podcast production thing. But we still kept it. So look out for that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Without further ado, let us get into the show. One Piece. One Piece. This is One Piece chapter 1091, Sentomaru. Last we left
Alternate title. Shine bright like a diamond.
off. That is very
Yeah,
apt.
a little cheesy, but I had to go for it.
It's a very apt title. There's a lot of shining going on.
For a lot of characters.
Oh yeah. Last we left off in One Piece, the raid on Egghead is continuing. The Navy has decided to move forward in their advance, sending Kizaru in because he's the only one who can actually get past the weird laser shield that is guarding the Labo phase. So, he makes it out, and he makes it a point to go address the Sentomaru situation since they got history, and he doesn't want to just disrespect him by stepping over him to get to the Straw Hats. So they are locked in battle. Meanwhile, the pacifistas and the sea beasts have started to attack the Navy ships. So they are locked in battle with all of Vegapunk's creations. We finally get to see what multiple Chin Man's power is.
Yeah, boy.
I get he just has a robot arm, it looks like, and he jumps up to one of the sea beasts and eliminates them with one punch known as the Steam Knuckle. It's basically Steam Knuckle.
That's yeah, you gotta love One Piece for the sound effects.
Oh yeah, that's the first thing I thought of when I saw this. Well, it's good that that Oda actually answered the question of what his deal is. It did make me happy to know. But the Vice Admiral seems to be holding their own against the pacifistas. Kizaru seems to make his way through, and is fighting Sentomaru. We cut back to the Labo phase where Usopp is letting everybody know that the Navy is going up against the Robo Sea Beasts. And Vegapunk reminds us that in the hierarchy of the Marines right now, Sentomaru is currently in complete control of the pacifistas, of which there are 50 currently. So as long as he doesn't go down, the Navy won't have control over the pacifistas. So that's and Usopp brings up the point, is like, well, isn't that why he showed up to take out Sentomaru? And he's referring to Kizaru. And basically, yeah, the answer is right. Vegapunk is lamenting because he's like, I'm sorry, this fight is too cruel to ask of you. I won't blame you for running away. But Sentomaru does not run away. He is facing up against Kizaru, getting knocked back. And he is kind of on the defensive here against Kizaru. But Kizaru asks him, since when did he side with pirates? And basically Sentomaru's like, I'll take the side of anyone who creates an escape route for the man who saved my life. And we start to get a flashback as to how Sentomaru got involved with Vegapunk and the Marines. Apparently on some island, Vegapunk and Kizaru found him as a little boy, who was, after they were asked to hunt these dangerous bears. Turns out he took them down by himself when he was just a young boy. And he tells Vegapunk and Kizaru that he hates the villagers because they're so weak, and he's not going back there. And Sentomaru's like, I'm so tough, I don't even get hungry, but I still want a job and I want money. And Vegapunk is like, why do you want money for? And he says, onigiri, just food essentially, even though he says he doesn't even get hungry. So, they took him in, and Kizaru is reminiscing on how adorable he was back then. Vegapunk at that young age enlisted him to be his bodyguard. And it was then that he turned to Kizaru and asked him how to protect Vegapunk. So, Kizaru taught him everything he knew, but at the same time, his defense is just as tough as Sentomaru's. And he basically eliminates Sentomaru with one hit, taking down the hierarchy and making it so the authority chip that Kizaru has is now in control of the pacifistas. So they turn around and start to attack the sea beasts. Jay Garcia on the ship is basically, it's a shame, but if we can only keep one, it should be the pacifistas. Referring to, the sea beasts or the pacifistas. They would rather keep that. Usopp lets everybody know that Sentomaru's down. Vegapunk is depressed because his like close friend and bodyguard has been taken down, and they continue to hack the shield so they can escape. Vegapunk is aware of the fact that Kizaru, since he is made of pure light, he can basically pass through the laser sensors. So, and just on cue, Kizaru just does that. He makes his way up to the Labo phase, and meanwhile, the Vega Force, the giant robot that they faced earlier, is carrying the Thousand Sunny around the back so they can escape. Luffy, Frankie, Bonnie, and among others are on the ship eating and I guess recovering their strength. But they hear the emergency alarm, which means Kizaru has made his way in. He starts to make a checklist of things to keep safe, which is the power plant, the punk records, and York. But the checklist to be eliminated, Dr. Vegapunk. Meanwhile, things start to heat up inside the Labo phase as, everybody's like kind of trying to figure out what to do about Kizaru. But Stussy notices that Lucci is now lunging straight towards Vegapunk, and she basically human shields herself and takes that fucking death poke from Lucci and rescues Vegapunk. Sanji, in, perfect like strategist fashion, he basically takes the bubble gun from Nami and immediately traps Kaku there. So he also is pretty good move, to be honest.
Yeah. Although, I mean, whatever. He would have got his face stomped in anyway, but
it's true.
I guess it's less of a...
Yeah, it's one less
annoyance.
person to even worry about. Zoro immediately attacks Lucci, and he's like, so you got your backup and thought you can make your move, huh? And Lucci says that between Kizaru and me, you're all dead. And Zoro...
Well,
yeah, he's about to get...
He has no fucking clue.
Bro, he's about to get stomped out by two separate Straw Hats. He already got beat by Luffy pretty handily, and Zoro's about to hand him his lunch again.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zoro and Lucci separate off into their own battle. Kizaru makes it to the point where Vega Force is running, and everybody on the ship is like, he's an admiral. What do we do, Luffy? Luffy? And Luffy's already gone.
Yeah.
My guy is like yards away from Kizaru, and the chapter ends with him immediately just kicking the shit out of him with Conqueror's Haki. Kizaru looks a little stressed, not for nothing, where he's like, very bad manners. And Luffy...
his eyes are pretty wide.
Yeah, and Luffy says that Kizaru, compared to 2 years ago, we're 100 times stronger. And that's where we're left off for the next 2 weeks, because One Piece is off next week. It's a huge bummer for me, to be honest. But Josh, what did you think about One Piece chapter 1091?
She RGC.
Yeah.
What can I say?
I'll tell you what, this week is fucking hard. I'll tell you. Brian, where do you lie? RGC or no? Brian? He'll probably get back to it. He probably stepped away for a second, but go on with your thoughts.
The anomaly. Yeah, so I had some thoughts about this chapter, obviously. I'm so excited that Luffy pulled up to Kizaru. Like making all these people that thought Luffy was nervous and mad about that, like shutting them all the fuck up. Yeah, like I didn't need it, but man, is it nice.
Yeah, when has Luffy been scared of anybody?
Yeah, like shut up. I would have been fine if there's a little trauma there. If he had kicked him and was like, and was like, oh, I'm stronger now. I ain't gonna lie. I was kind of hoping he'd be like a little bit more serious about the situation. Like, yeah, motherfucker, I remember you. I remember what you put my crew through. Because he knows what it is with Kuma. He knows Kuma is an ally. Uh, yeah, Luffy knows, right? Even though he's dumb, at least the rest of the crew does. I don't think it's him. You know what I'm saying? It's Kizaru who orchestrated that shit. He befriended everybody else in that situation already, right?
Yeah.
Literally everyone except Kizaru. So, maybe some more emotion will come out as they fight. I'm so interested to see how this matchup comes out. I kind of hope that they gang up on him too. I hope a couple of the Straw Hats pull up to fight like with Luffy, just because. But I also wouldn't be mad if it ended up dissolving into fights with the other Marine members. Speaking of, so what were they? Admirals in the beginning?
What do you mean?
All right. So Multi Chin Man.
He's a vice admiral.
All right. So these are all vice admirals.
Yeah.
All right. So the ones. So at first I had a little bit of an attitude that one of these vice admirals pulled up and started fighting against the pacifistas. Because, come on, yo. The pacifistas, these are supposed to be stronger than the ones that we seen on Shibodi, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, to see them getting handled was a little annoying. But I guess at the same time, like, it's not like they got defeated. None of the pacifistas got defeated, per se.
No.
And
one of them just took a hit, it looks like.
They are vice admirals who, outside of Smoker are supposed to be pretty strong. So
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry about Smoker. His power's so cool. But he's lame against anybody with hockey. Like,
yeah, we'll hope that he gets better and he gets stronger himself, That would be nice.
Yeah. He should have joined Blackbeard's crew. That would have been lit. He should have joined with Aokiji when he pulled up and saved him. And he would have had some purpose.
Yeah.
Don't really have any other thought. I mean, Sensamaru went out like a gangster. He cut him, but I don't think he really landed the hit. I think Kizaru made his body split in half.
Yeah, that's what happened.
He uses because he uses hockey.
Yeah.
Like he can't.
He would have been able to cut him.
Yeah, well, at least he would have slashed him. Would have been a gusher of blood, and he still would have been fine and fought. You know how it is. Mm-hmm. But side note. So I seen on an Instagram reel apparently, and I mean, I guess y'all can fact check it. I don't know if it's for real or not, but the whole like blood gushing, trope is like, I guess, like what started out as an accident in like a Japanese samurai film.
Yeah.
The blood was supposed to come like leak out, but it ended up like exploding.
Yep.
Like how it does like in Bleach. Yeah, you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, how cool is that, man? And they were just like, nah, that's lit. Keep that shit.
That happens a lot in like, movies and stuff where accidents end up being better than what was originally intended to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like with scripts too.
Yeah,
certain lines.
It's like anything, yeah. That happens all the time. Yeah, a lot of Succession is like not completely script. Like there's a pretty heavy script to it, but the actors are giving liberty to just kind of like play around a little bit as long as they hit generally what is supposed to be said sometimes. So I imagine that happens a lot on movie sets and TV shows and all that stuff. It's happy accidents, I guess.
Happy accidents. I like that. Also, by the way, a panel that could go in for panel of the week. If you go to page 10, and I guess if you count, so 1, 2, so in the second row in the middle, you'll see Kizaru going right, like laughing.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, he's in peak Baboon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like Jesus. That is the most monkey
peak Baboon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kizaru does mean yellow monkey.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that
Yeah,
in the least derogatory way possible.
yeah. Well, Kizaru is like all the admirals are like based on real actors. Like Oda puts an obscene
Yeah, I
amount
remember
of
you told me about that.
he puts there's a level of details in the admirals that don't exist in most other characters because they're based off real people. But yeah, that is a good candidate for panel of the week. Were those all your thoughts?
Kuni Tanaka.
Who? Oh, is that the guy?
Yeah, Kuni Tanaka. Let me look at his face. Images.
Ooh, he's got he's got the ooh.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yo. All right, I'm gonna screenshot it. I just went to Google Images, but there's this one in particular, like just like the motherfucker, yo.
Yeah, Oda really went. It's funny when people say that like Oda can't really draw. It's just he can, and he is a good artist no matter what. But he can put detail into things and make things like look really real. It's just a weekly series where he has deadlines. But yeah, were those all your thoughts, by the way?
Yeah, those are my thoughts.
Hey, Brian, are you back? He's not back yet. Wow, what happened to him?
Yeah, maybe he died like I did last week.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess I'll go with my thoughts. I am struggling to figure out if this is my RGC or not because there is another chapter that there's like 2 other chapters this week that I really, really liked.
I sent a picture in the chat.
Yeah, I got it. Wow. It's crazy. That's insane.
That picture right there looks like it was straight out the manga.
Yeah, for real. It's really funny. Hold on, let me see. Like I said, I've really been struggling over whether this is my RGC because I love this chapter a lot, but there are also like 2 other chapters that have really blown out of the park for me. So I don't really know what to say in terms of that. I guess I'll reserve judgment until we get through those chapters, I guess. But yeah, so far I really like this a lot. I think the action was so cool. The Sentomaru stuff, learning about his backstory was kind of nice because he's been like a character around for a while. I wondered his involvement. He didn't seem like a marine, really. He was just this kid they found in the woods. But the Kizaru versus Luffy thing moment at the very end here got me so hyped. I was like, yes, finally, this motherfucker's gonna get his. All these admirals that have wronged Luffy in the past are about to get theirs, which is really cool. Meanwhile,
hell yeah,
my favorite thing is Lucci's confidence is unbelievable at this point. He got his like shit pushed in like twice, like by Luffy very, very easily, even with an awakened fruit. He got beat up pretty bad, and Zoro is basically on the same level.
Yo, he better not struggle that much. Oda likes to kind of play around sometimes, like in the background. But it better be decisive.
I think it kind of makes sense because Luffy's fruit is really powerful. So I would imagine he stomps over most people pretty easy. More of these tertiary villains pretty easy. I could see Lucci giving him a tiny bit of trouble, especially with an awakened fruit.
That's fine.
But Zoro better win.
Yeah, and
somewhat handedly.
Somewhat handedly. That there we go. It could be entertaining.
Yeah, entertain us.
But let's not give any Lucci stands something to say.
I don't know how many Lucci stands are out there.
It's not even the Lucci stands. It's the contrarian Zoro haters. The people that hate that everyone loves Zoro so much and that overhype Zoro. So they'd be like, see, he couldn't even deal with Lucci. You know? It gets there, man. It gets there with these nerds.
Yeah.
Please, Oda.
Please, Oda, give us something cool. I can't believe it's going to be 2 weeks again. It hurts my feelings.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yeah. I don't think Brian's back yet, but that's all I really had to say about One Piece this week. I thought it was just like a really great read overall.
It was a really great read. Was it your RGC? No, right?
I'm on the fence. I still got like 2 others that I feel like I want to go through before I really make my call. But
Yeah, bastard. You popped you one of them blues and
you got me a bastard.
I'm just gonna
Said you're a
leave it
bastard.
at that. You're biased.
I'm not biased.
You turned your back.
Frankly, it's because I'm so unbiased.
You have a new favorite son.
That's not true. It's because I'm so unbiased that I am reserving judgment. If I was biased,
It's disgusting. It's terrible, man.
what?
I don't like it. I don't like how devoted you are to your unbiased ways. Sometimes it's okay. You can play favorites sometimes, especially when it's with Goat Piece.
Well, I can't because those are the duties that come with being the king. If I was if I was an unbiased prince or an unbiased duke,
You have a hollow heart.
I would be easier. I would be more inclined to give my biases a little bit of a break, but I can't. Not as the king. I have a duty.
Your heart is blue, and there's a hollow in your stomach.
I don't even know what that means.
That's bars.
Oh, it is bars. Well,
because that's what's going to be the RGC. I'm just going to put the Blue Sea under that series.
Well, there's 2 others.
Because I know.
Is another
and
one.
I'm going to get it then.
What?
I know what you're going to pick already.
You don't know what I'm
It's
gonna
not
pick.
One Piece. Yeah, I'm already putting the C down. It's too late.
All right.
You could try to spite me and make a different pick if you want, but the ink's already on the paper, and we all know. Well, we both know.
Yeah.
And if Brian was here, he'd know too.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out. But all right. Well, Brian's disappeared. So, I guess if anything, we'll get his thoughts later. But in any case, I guess we should move on to our next series then, yeah?
Sure.
Bloody Cross.
My Hero Academia.
Where's Brian at for My Brian Academia?
I don't know.
I'm sending out a bat signal, a fiend signal,
A fiend signal.
a bias signal, something you know nothing of.
I know nothing of biases. I am the unbiased king.
You couldn't even choose a starter in Pokemon. That's why you never played it.
That was really tough for me when I was young. I was like, who's gonna pick? I picked a Squirtle a fair amount, to be honest.
That's lit. I chose Squirtle too. That was my first starter.
That's because I really like Blastoise.
Not my favorite, but yeah.
I think Blastoise is when I was a kid, that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, yeah. The cannons, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why my dad got it for me. I know he seen the cannons and said, "Yeah, this nigga got guns." That's the one I'm gonna get for you, Josh. That's what my father did.
He did the right thing.
I hope he turns his sword into some guns.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to be more. I'm trying to be better with the soundboard. But yeah, I mean, Turtle Bear with guns. I love it. That's my guy.
Yeah. Speaking of devices and weaponry.
Yeah, this is My Hero Academia, chapter 399, Organic Mingling Clusters of Light.
What?
Organic Mingling Clusters of Light. Last we left off.
Horikoshi does shrooms.
He might. I don't know him personally. I'm not going to say one way or another whether he does shrooms. He could.
He does the same drugs that Ite Kubo does when he makes his titles.
Yeah. Okay, so last we left off, All Might is continuing to fight All for One, who is just so wrapped up in trying to kill All Might that he's abandoned his plans altogether. He's so emotional about taking this motherfucker out that he has to stop
Fighting him at his strongest at that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's currently having trouble with All Might, who is not even quirked up. You know. But yeah, All Might is using this mech suit with the inspired by all the powers of his students. So yeah, the battle is continuing on here. All for One is basically like cackling like a mad fool 1 minute and scampering and hiding the next. Your goal here is no mystery to me, and I don't need to waste excess strength to twist that garish grin into an agonized grimace. Power saver mode is plenty enough for killing you. And
That's power saver mode.
huh?
He said power saver mode.
Yeah,
He sound like Shigaraki.
for real.
I miss that Shigaraki.
Yeah. I miss the old Shigaraki.
Same.
The bad news Shigaraki. Anyway, so All for One, All Might dodges one of All for One's attacks, only to be met in the skies by these weird faces that are just lurking, waiting for him up there.
Titan-esque.
And he's like, liar, because he's like, huh? No, I really am conserving my power. And
Yeah, right. This is some trying hard shit right
yeah,
here.
this is really like you're working hard, bro.
Then again, it is kind of playful. I mean, I guess it would have been more efficient to shoot another beam.
Yeah.
I mean, I can appreciate the variety for the artistic sake.
Yeah, I mean, this is terrifying for sure.
Yeah, I liked it. This is one of my favorite panels as well.
Yeah. All for One is like, where'd that lovely smile go? You're nothing but a bag of bones, missing half his guts. He's like talking
Yeah.
major shit.
Both of them.
Yeah. Is that smile while you're on
they
the...
got beef.
They do.
Yo, this is the...
This is the most petty beef between two villains and heroes that I've ever seen. These motherfuckers
I
hate
fuck with
each
it.
other. I love it too, but it's very funny.
Yeah, there's chemistry there. It makes sense. It's lore-wise, right?
Yeah.
Like...
Dude, he pops out of the wall in the next page, just like with that Titan face himself.
Oh, yeah.
He said, he slams All Might down onto the ground, but All Might returns with a fucking pretty brutal punch. The amount of detail in this small panel with this mechanical arm or whatever it is, blasting All for One in the face. You can see his cheek just blast open almost. It's pretty crazy the amount of things that he's able to fit on a page, on a single like small panel. But All Might,
Yeah. Oh, he put that pause through the cannon in his mouth, yo. Say, taste it. I didn't even know he did that. While he was wrapped up. Yeah, he did him crazy.
yeah, that shit was crazy.
Oh my god. Oh, yeah, Mike's that nigga.
Yeah, and he's
I
talking shit right
forgot.
now. He's just like, you still don't get it, good buddy. He called him his good buddy. That shit is crazy. The lights tend to flicker on and off, so while my light might be snuffed out, someone's sure to pick up my torch and shine on. And then we cut to, as All for One is talking,
A hard cut. The
hard
hardest
cut. To Aoyama, who has been basically captured by a villain of some sort. They explained that about 300 meters northeast of Ground Zero for the Divide and Conquer operation, 32 heroes were tasked with mopping up the villains who weren't warped away, but all but one of those heroes were wiped out. And it's Aoyama. We see Fat Gum is dying, literally, from this
Yes.
villain named Kunieda.
Bro, all the heroes got wiped out by Poison Ivy. Are you fucking kidding me? All of them.
Yeah. So
Well, maybe
this,
there's other villains there, sure. Come on. Come on.
So Fat Gum is like, the roots dig down all slow, like, so my fat absorption can't do a dang thing. And he turns over to Aoyama and says, show him what you're made of, Aoyama. And I guess he fucking dies right now. which
Well, it turns into one of those flower zombies. I mean,
I don't know. I'm I don't know how I felt about this, just because like Feckham has one of my favorite moments in the entire series, to be honest.
oh yeah, that's an L we all gotta hold for sure. That's
Yeah.
I don't know why you expected anything different. Not well, did you?
Well, I didn't think he would die, I guess, especially not in this way.
I don't think he's dead. I don't think they just died.
Bro, he looks
I don't think it's that.
dead.
I,
He's a
nah, it's
flower.
like like in One Piece. Remember when they was all dried up and yeah, he's just a flower zombie. It's when she gets killed, they'll be fine probably.
No, this person says that after just one bloom, the spreading pollen allowed them to propagate like a daisy chain. So they are veritable extensions of myself via the roots. So I think they're just dead.
Whoa, damn.
And one of the
Kuneda is a fucking beast, mass murderer and corpse collector.
yeah.
Oh shit.
So
Yeah, okay, well, yeah.
you know what? I guess
There goes your boy.
Oh, that's sad. Well, here you go. This is
Wow, this sucks. Actually, that's really the. I ain't gonna lie, the Mario drop kind of hit. Like,
he's gone.
damn, come on, Fat Gum.
He's gone.
Yo, remember like a few months ago when they all scattered and he was there? We was like, yo, like we gonna probably get to see them fight.
Yeah. No,
I
he's
bet you
dead.
didn't think it'd be like this.
Definitely not. Well, it's whatever. Anyway, one of these flowers spits out Aoyama's belly button laser belt
That's
thing.
it.
And he's like, "You've got no escape, no hope for escape, traitor. Without your belt, your power leaks freely, leaving you unable to aim. And your desperate training only feeds the plant. So, as I imagine that, hoping to fit in, you became his pawn, and accepted a power that was ill suited for your physiology. To put it bluntly, you've led a pathetic, shameful life." Yeah, all this time his belly button laser is just like charging up and shit. And Aoyama says, "Hence why I said merci," reminding myself of how shamefully I've lived. Is what spurred me to follow in the wake of what the light that they bring. It's given me the desire to shine from deep down within my core. And he lets his lasers loose freely, and they just kind of like miss a lot of the target. This fucking plant person is starting to talk a lot of shit, but right behind him is Hagakure, who is currently invisible and using her light refracting ability to, I guess, redirect all of the light back onto the plant guy, Kuneda, I think the name is, and defeating him, I guess. His Aoyama's face kind of makes me laugh here because I think he's also caught in the crossfire, so he's also taking a little bit of laser. But yeah, this was a cool moment, to be honest. But yeah, we see at the same time, All Might has this floating device up in the air, and it basically he starts shouting out, like, "So no, I'm not here to lose, all for one. Know this name as you burn away." And as he says, "Can't stop twinkling," which is Aoyama's hero name, a giant laser beam descends from the sky, hitting all for one. It looked like a pretty OP laser, not for nothing.
Yeah, All for One's definitely like it's gonna be more than a scratch.
Yeah, it's not good.
He's not gonna be all the way okay after this.
Yeah. But hey, that was where the chapter ends. Josh, what did you think about My Hero Academia chapter 399?
Man, that chapter was fucking lit.
In more ways than one.
So like the funny thing is, this was the runner-up for me, retroactively. But I still stand on One Piece. I was the themes in that was really exciting. But anyway, I don't care for Ayama. I'm not emotionally invested in him. He was funny throughout the series, but you know, when we found out he was the traitor, we wasn't feeling that shit at all. Even Brian was starting to waver, which was a pretty big deal. But you know, this is just I really like the banter between All for One and All Might. It's it makes sense because of their history, and it's really bringing me back to like what All Might is capable of. You know, like he wasn't just this brute power guy. He was a thinker too. You know what I mean? He was smart. I mean, he wasn't, you know, genius level or nothing like that, but he's maneuvering. He's using all of these abilities to the best he can. He's like luring All for One. This is this has been an enticing fight, and I like the little panels of All for One looking creepy, like in the cut, and like you know, like those crazy monster heads. It was a lit chapter, and you know, sucks that all these heroes and people are probably dead. I still have my doubts, but yeah. I guess those are my thoughts.
Brian, do you happen to be back? No. Well, that's fine. I'll guess I'll get into my thoughts. Yeah, this was another. Yeah, I agree. This was a super lit chapter. um, yeah, the stuff with All Might is very like engaging. They're just like really talking shit and getting under each other's skin and stuff. It's really cool. All Might like putting up all of his like pretty much his all against All for One is has been pretty fun to watch. The Aoyama stuff, I agree. I'm not like I haven't been like super invested with his trader storyline, especially since like we've talked about it already, like when it was initially like dropped that he was the traitor. How it didn't really like impact us very hard. Uh Especially since like we were kind of given the idea that Aoyama was a red herring and the real traitor is like out there, but it did turn out to be him after all. Um, but outside of that, I mean, I thought this was like a fun redemption for him. It sucks that we had to lose Fatcom in order to get this, but I really appreciated you know what they were trying to do with Aoyama here and allowing him to get a little bit of shine and a little bit of not retribution, I guess, but and not necessarily redemption, but you know, just to give back a little and try to make amends for you know selling them out all this time. Um, so I appreciated that. Involving Hagakure was a cool moment too. This was like kind of a one-on-one battle in a sense, or a two-on-one battle with two characters that don't usually get a whole lot of spotlight actually got it and were able to do something cool before the series ends, especially Hagakure, out of all people. Um, so I did enjoy that aspect of it, and I'm glad that we had this moment between them overall. But yeah, I'm excited to see what comes next out of this. I wonder if there's just going to be more uh, mixing All Might stories with other students, like gaining small victories of their own. Um, that would be kind of cool. That would be a cool like little method. I wish they had like started that a little earlier, just so.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna persist. But
Yeah, you know, just to give like Anima his oh well, I guess he did. He was fighting with the heteromorphs and all them. Um, yeah, but yeah, that's all my thoughts on My Hero Academia for now. Um, yeah. Uh, are you ready to move on, Josh?
yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, let us move onward.
Oh, oh shit!
Jujutsu Kaisen. And with that, I'm gonna toss it over to Josh.
All right, give me one moment for it to pull up. All right, Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter 234, Inhuman Makio Shinjuku Showdown, Part 12. Oh, I did that pretty good too. Um, last week shit hit the fan pretty much. I mean, Gojo is not necessarily struggling, but he's got to deal with fighting three creatures. You know, Sakuda included in that. He's also came to terms that he has to rely on his purple hollow in order to succeed in winning this fight. That's the gist of it. So we cut to this chapter. Okotu is basically thinking the same thing I was last week, which is like, yeah, I'm pulling up to this fight. Fuck out of here. Like, this is too much. He's getting ganged up on right now. I'm about to pull up and show them how, what it means to gang up on somebody with Rika. And Cash Money, is like, yo, don't interfere. Because if anyone's going to go next, it ain't you. Your boy Okatsu started powering up like, nigga, what? I ain't Mr. Rishi, bro. I'm not. Ain't no luck here. I'm going to fuck you up. Me and Rika, will beat the shit out of your sparkly ass. Stop it. And I actually forgot his name. What's the
Hikari?
the other powerful guy? Hikari's like, yo, chill, Kotsu. Cash Money is right. Gojo said he only wants help if he gets weaker than you or me, which will never happen. So, Gojo's still like, nah, man, like, fuck that. The circumstances change, and I know we can deal with them Shikigamis. That's not a problem. And then Maki comes in, and she's like, yeah, listen, I'm the one that's gonna fight next. Like it's the obvious choice, you know what I'm saying? So she also says something interesting that to not forget his role, and that if he dies, and that if Gojo dies, Okotsu is their insurance. That's interesting. Are they acknowledging that he's the next strongest? I wonder. I'll leave a note for that. So anyway, Maki continues to say, if we beat Sukuna now, then insurance won't be necessary. Oh no, Okotu responds that if we beat Sukuna now, then insurance won't be necessary, so that we should take the chance. And then Itadori's like, yo, I agree. Go fucking help him. I really fucked with this comic. Itadori keeps it a buck all the time. So fuck what these niggas is talking about, man. I agree. Go save Sensei, man. He taught both of us. They don't know. But the other guy, the new Shadow Man. It's funny the way I remember these characters. I know you don't remember his name.
Which one?
But this guy that says, "Wait, you don't understand anything."
Kusakabe, I think his name is.
Oh. Yeah, so he tries to break up the little discussion, and then one of the other veteran sorcerers is like, "Listen, they each need something different for victory. Gojo just needs to beat Sukuna, because the rest of us could handle Kenjaku. But even if Sukuna beats Gojo, he got to deal with all of us right after, and that's gonna be tough. So then Hikari, almost said Chikara. Hikari is saying, look, he's probably holding out for a really strong move, and insinuating that we might get caught up in that shit. And Kosu agrees. He's like, yeah, we might cause more trouble. And one of the other veteran sorcerers is like, right, something about who's Urami. Something that
He's
he says that Matsu,
ice person.
Who?
He's the ice person that hangs around Sukuna.
I guess meaning like, yeah, if we join in the fight, the ice person will too, and that'll just probably complicate things a little bit more. And it's like Sukuna can't afford to unload everything he has, but Gojo can fight unhindered. So this is the best route to take, basically. So it's funny because Kashimo is like, all this era sorcerers this clueless. And meanwhile, Kosu was still thinking about like unhindered. Like, what is that supposed to mean? I thought that was curious too. I don't know why Okosu was thinking that, but I kind of figured, well, he still has to worry about Megumi's soul, right? One way or another. But anyway,
Yeah.
so Kashimo makes a point to say like this fight is about whether Gojo could overcome this or not, basically, and that it ain't our place to intervene. So then finally come back to the fight, and it's a lot of motherfucking action. Your boy Gojo was scrapping with the two Shikagamis, with Nue and Hako. What's his name?
I forget
Maharaga.
this.
Yeah, there we go.
There's Maharaga
Yeah, no,
and this other.
Yeah, I said Nue. I'm just. It has a name, but let's just say Nue, just to keep it easy. Fighting against Nue.
Agito is the name of the other Shikigami.
Maharaga, right?
No, it's Maharaga and Agito is the other one.
Agito is the one with the
Nue
scorpion
and all
tail.
that stuff that's like
Yeah.
combined. It's an amalgamation of all these Shikigami.
Yeah, Sukuna's a cheater. All right. So Gojo, so as he's fighting them, he's like, look, like he notices that that Agito keeps like regenerating really quick, and he's like, all right. I gotta find a way to deal with his regeneration because he hasn't adapted. He hasn't adapted to limitless energy. What's called the limitless curse technique. But the condition for me to win is to destroy them with one punch, just like for Maharaga. So I kind of assumed that what he meant was that he's gonna have to knock them out with his really strong move, kind of line them up like in bowling, like knock them out like pins. But the fight continues. Maharaga pulls up, and your boy has something special for him. I think he sent a little. I don't know. I guess one of those hollow moves. It looks like Gojo sent the hollow move into the ground, and then sidestepped Maharaga, and then the fucking hollow attack came out and did a lot of damage to Maharaga. And then Gojo just levitates. I don't know, levitates towards Agito. I thought that shit was hilarious. Like his stance.
Yeah, he did.
He's
went
like, oh,
zoop.
yes, it's your turn. I will bestow upon thee this ass whooping.
Yeah.
Punches that nigga in the face. And he mentions that you're repeating yourself, and he says, I can't let Sukuna heal. I need to prioritize destroying Agito. So I guess it's Sukuna monologuing to himself that he's fine. And that when he uses the purple hollow, the output is over 120% with some kind of binding valve. However, I got away with just losing 2 reinforced hands with taking a direct hit at just under 4 kilometers. A lot of stuff going on.
He's talking about how he's basically saying that the last time he used purple, he lost 2 hands, and that was from 4 kilometers away.
Right. So
he's close. He's a lot closer right now.
There's no way he could take one up close.
Yeah, he's really close right now. So I guess he can't use it right now. Saying that like neither of us is at full strength. If he lands a hit with purple, I'm dead.
Right. So he's basically kind of waiting on Maharaga to make a play. I guess like to kind of break like this stalemate.
He's make a play, son. Make a play.
Yeah, he's like, come on. It's funny because he's even like, listen, man, I ain't Megumi. I'm Sukuna. You could go ahead and show out. I don't. It's funny because I'm not sure what that really implied, but we'll see in a moment. So we see another click from the wheel, very ominous. And in the next panel, we see Gojo's right arm fly off from his elbow, like getting cut off. As Maharaga sent a fucking Omni Slash through the fucking air that sliced the buildings behind him. Pretty big splash, pretty lit.
Yeah.
Oh, like Zoro, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He did some Zoro shit. Oh, Zoro versus Sukuna would be crazy. Anyway, and then Sukuna's like, very good.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Everyone's like, yes, you see what my Hiraga just did? That was the slash and attack. That was some Sakuna shit. And everyone was like, oh no, like Gojo's healing power is not really on point. So, man, the assault, the three-way assault is underway, and Gojo starts getting his ass beat like it was a 3-on-1 in Smash Brothers. He's getting tossed around the stage. And right when Agito lands his hit, he's like, oh, my turn. And Gojo stops and says, this whole time, you haven't been able to keep up like the others. You soft. And your boy pops in one of them blues, hits him with a maximum output blue. And it's so cute how Maharaga shields Sukuna from the blast. Yeah.
He said, "Come
Check
here,
my
come
math.
with me, Fraud Kuna."
Let me save you.
Please, Fraud
as
Kuna.
Agito gets fucking obliterated. And as we get a monologue from Gigi himself saying 41 seconds from now, right? It's Gigi. Yeah.
Yeah.
41 seconds from now. Right, yeah, we can agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the second time, Satoru Gojo's Hollow Purple will cut through Shinjuku. Man, Japan's just not going to be the same.
No, they're
after
taking a
this
lot
fight.
of fucking damage. Chapter.
It's going to be like Mad Max out there, like for a little while. Like yeah, the little wars, what was it? The territory battles. That those did damage to the city, but this right here, Shinjuku, is like the aesthetic I'm thinking of is what was that anime? The dude that would touch you. He would like tap people,
Oh,
and
Fist
then
of the
like
North
they wouldn't
Star?
even know they was dead.
Fist of the North Star?
Yes. Remember how them cities looked?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wastelands.
Guys. Deserted wastelands. No one's going to work in that building again.
Nope.
I'm done stalling. It was been the end of the chapter. I just had to get my shit off. Chris, what were your thoughts
Wow.
on what was your favorite chapter of the week?
You know what? This was my urgency. It's just so good. I'm sorry. I tried to be a little more unbiased, I guess, but this one got the better of me. Jujutsu Kaisen is my really good chapter of the week.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
Was the defining moment when he shot Agito with the blue?
Yeah, I honestly, your narration got me super hyped. Where I was just like, "Let's fucking go! This is my urgency."
Yeah. He said, "Hold one of these real quick."
First of all, he
Let's
looked at
keep it packed.
Agito and he says, "You're out of your league, little buddy."
Yeah, he was like, yeah.
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 This is also
You
like,
said it well. I can't say it better than you did. Like,
yeah, this was also like ass whooping of the week, I think, for Agito.
oh hell yeah! I mean, Sentomaru got his shit put back for sure.
Brother, go home.
Obliterated.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, right?
it was
But,
disrespectful. Because here's the thing, Agito did not land that blow. That was the inviolability that Agito can't negate. Coming in and he's just not good enough. He just got like destroyed.
That is hilarious.
And Gojo looked her in the eye and was like, you're not her. You can't do this. And he blasted her away.
You're a false idol.
Yeah, get out of here. He said maximum output blue just to fucking show her how far she was behind. And she's gone. Destroyed.
All that spirit bomb.
You see that
nigga.
splurt at the last page? That was her. That was Agito.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Going splurt. Exploding into pink mist.
Yeah, Maharaga has fear in his heart.
Speaking
in his
also,
Shikigami heart.
if you look at that last panel, Gojo is healing his arm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
So yeah, this is just it is just like the great part of Jujutsu Kaisen's fights is that they're very strategic, but they also do beat the shit out of each other. Like it is very hardcore brutal battles where they're like actively just trying to beat each other down, but in the smartest possible way. It's really cool to see. It's just exciting to read and really fun. I'm having a great time reading Jujutsu Kaisen right now.
Yeah, the anime is gonna be so fucking
Bro.
crazy when it gets to this.
Oh my god, they're the Shibuya arc is starting in like a week or two, and I am so fucking excited. But this is insane. I'm so excited to read Jujutsu Kaisen right now. So yeah, so much fun. But Josh, what did you think about the chapter?
I really like the chapter, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, some thoughts I had. What is the deal with Maharaga learning Sukuna's moves? It's not like he did any new shadow stuff. But I guess, excuse me, guys, I have the hiccups. You just had to bear with me. Hold on. Yeah, okay, yeah, I tried to burp to help with that. But anyway, I wonder if it's the fact that he like takes after the user's ability, like their style, because I don't think he's gonna be able to use like curse technique of Sukuna or nothing like that. But are his slashes his curse technique? Is that how that works?
Sukuna's technique?
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
is that just his like I don't know. Yeah, that's his curse technique, right? The slashes.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily like he's using Sukuna's technique specifically, but it may, or more that it is a Sukuna-esque type thing. Like it may not, because Sukuna's whole technique is that it's unrelenting like slashes. Like he's just constantly sending out waves of slashes at you. But I don't think it is similar to Sukuna, but it's not necessarily Sukuna's technique, I would say.
Okay. Well, I guess we never seen any of the new Shadow stuff because Megumi never fought with him.
Yeah, there was a chapter in the Shibuya arc that explained Sukuna's like curse technique more specifically. There's dismantle and there's cleave. And I think cleave is just like you just send a bunch of slashes, and I think dismantle is literally you're like taking things apart. But yeah, if you wanted to continue on, where I'll actually look into it. I have the volumes right here, so I'll check a couple pages for you.
Yeah, I guess that was like the my biggest lingering thought about the chapter. That small detail. I like that they had a conversation of addressing that. There's a good reason why we're not all gonna combine our efforts to destroy Sukuna. You know, that's very GG like. GG like to think about the loopholes. That's what he's best at.
Okay, I found it. So Sukuna has two types of slashing attacks. The main attack is dismantle, and the secondary attack is cleave. And the secondary attack, cleave, can be adjusted depending on target's toughness and cursed energy level to cut them down in one fell swoop. So, I guess it's a difference between that, and Malevolent Shrine differs from other types of domain expansions in that it doesn't create a separate barrier using, doesn't create a separate space using a barrier. The ability to realize one innate's domain without using a barrier is akin to an artist painting a masterpiece, but not on a canvas, but on air, which is pretty crazy.
Very crazy indeed.
So he has for anything with cursed energy, he uses cleave, and for inanimate objects, he uses dismantle. So, just a quick lesson, I guess, on his technique, basically. I wonder if it's just like Cleve zooms in on like people with cursed techniques or cursed energy specifically, and just like dismantle is
Sort
for
of
everything
homing
else.
attack.
Yeah, dismantle is for people who don't have any of those things. But yeah, I don't think Maharaga is necessarily copying his techniques. I just think he did something similar. But who's to say? I think it's not very clear, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Well, those are my thoughts. I popped me one of them blues, and so did Sotaro Gojo.
Yeah. He went absolutely
And
crazy.
I'm looking to see more colors. I want to see red, purple. Hopefully, he has green, yellow, and silver as well.
If he how
You know what I'm saying?
how hyped up would you be if he ended it with green? If he had a green technique?
Wow. I would elevate into levels of euphoria never before seen.
If his final technique that kills both Maharaga and Sukuna at the same blow was green, you would lose
Right,
it.
and then when he uses it, he looks like it's so easy.
Yeah.
Not that it was easy, but like the facial expression.
It's just like, of course I used green.
Yes. Yeah. Like you should have known. You should have known
That I would use
but
green.
Yeah, but I'm superior, and because of my superior skills and abilities, you didn't foresee this. You lacked the imagination and fortitude that I have for the cursed arts. You know what I mean? Something that he doesn't have to say all of that. It just all of that has to be shown in his facial expression.
Yeah.
A picture's worth 1,000 words, and that was probably under 100 words. So yeah, I could do it in a panel.
Definitely. But yeah, all right. Well, that was Jujutsu Kaisen. Are we ready to move onward?
Yes.
All right.
Is
us-
Agito ready to move onward to the next life?
I don't think she had a choice. She got moved onward whether she liked it or not.
I think Agito made that choice when they tried to punch
For real.
Gojo in the head.
Definitely. That was their mistake.
He said, "It's I'm ready to die."
Die. Well, all right. With that said, let's move onward then.
Grr, bow, bow, bow.
World Trigger.
Yo,
What?
we missed you.
Oh yeah, you were missed. World Trigger. This is World Trigger, chapter 236. Mirai Hatohara. Last we left off, we're still in the away exam arc here with the. Oh geez, I dropped the soundboard. With the World Trigger crew, and last we left off with World Trigger, we had Ninomiya and Emma confronting each other over the what's been going on with their team and why they are suddenly not doing as well as they used to. And they got into a bit of an argument. Emma is questioning Ninomiya's leadership skills, and Ninomiya right back has also questioned Emma's I guess what's the right word for it? I don't know, his assertion as a teammate, like his willingness to stand up and help his teammates and not necessarily look to a leader and to do it for him. And after all, they got into an argument where Emma brought up Hatohara and saying that like the way you act is why she left your team probably. And Ninomiya's like, she didn't like leave my team necessarily, like she's in the neighborhood. And we are given a little bit of a flashback starting this chapter about Hatohara and her disappearance from Ninomiya's perspective. And it starts with Ninomiya in the high office of the border HQ with Shinoda, I think his name is Kido, the main guy, and the R&R guy whose name I forget also. But yeah, he's basically saying, I refuse to accept this. By all means, we should have passed your selection test. tell me why my squad's not allowed on the away mission. And they basically explain is because Hatohara didn't shoot anyone throughout the entire season. So she has no part. She has no business being part of the away mission. She has an apparent inability to shoot others, and that will leave her unable to defend herself in the neighborhood. So it should be obvious why that is a big risk.
I guess.
And he's like, "Why you're so eager that you're that eager to come?" And he's like, "Why don't you just apply as an individual? I mean, like nobody's gonna say no to you because you probably, nobody's gonna say no to you joining this squad." And Ninomiya says,
Like, nigga, it ain't about that.
"Yeah,
It's about the gang, bro.
for real." He says,
And Altahara really wants to go too, so.
he basically said like this whole thing, like we want to go to the away mission because Hatohara wants to go. And yeah, the R&R guy is like, yeah, we understand that we're aware of Hatohara's brother, and Ninomiya cuts him off by saying, "My squad is more than capable for making up for Hatohara's reluctance to shoot others. After all, there will be operators and engineers and other non-combatants as well. So, why is Hatohara in particular such a problem in your eyes?" And Kido says that there are limited personnel slots for the mission. So including a squad with 2 non-combatants, just having Hatohara on would be a burden for the rest of the crew. And he's like, "Is that a reason? Is that not enough of a reason to satisfy you?" He's like, "Well," and Ninomiya responds, "Well, in that case, I would prove to you that even with 2 non-combatants, and even with Hatohara refusing to shoot anyone, my squad will not prove to be a hindrance to others." And he says that once we claim the top spot in the A rank, I ask that you permit us to join the away mission. And Kido says, like, "Well, we can't make that promise at the moment, but once you set out what you've achieved to do, we will at least consider allowing Ninomiya's squad's participation." And he says, "This conversation is over. See yourself out." And I guess Ninomiya, we cut to him waiting by the elevator when Inukai shows up. He's like, oh, I think Izumi. Sorry, my bad. Izumi, the number 1 shooter in Border, pulls up. He's like, "Hey, man, you doing okay? You look kind of down." And Ninomiya just walks up to him and it says, "Teach me how to shoot like you." And he's like, "What? Where's this coming from?" He's like, "I'm asking you to teach me everything you know about marksmanship." And Izumi is like, "Well, we're rivals at the moment, and you're already ranked higher than me as a shooter. So, how about we each polish our skills and see who's stronger in the rank wars." So as Izumi walks away, Ninomiya is like, "Izumi," and he turns around and Ninomiya is like bowing to him. Basically, he's like, "I'm begging you. You can tell that I mean it." And we then cut to
Japanese style bow, like
Yeah.
not on his knees.
No, just a standing bow. And Ninomiya is now, we cut to the point where he's explaining to his team that they will not be joining the away mission this season. And Hatohara immediately apologizes because it's her fault. But Inukai and the other teammates are like, "Hey, it's not your fault. You don't need to apologize." And I forget this particular Border member's name. I know he's an attacker. He says that, "Do you think that they will actually consider us if we come first in A rank?" And the operator is like, "Well, all they said is that they consider it. That's not much of a promise." And Ninomiya says, like, "Well, nevertheless, taking the top squads at least will be able to quell the notions that other squads would be burdened by our presence. So the very idea that we would hinder squads weaker than us is completely baseless." So he's trying to beat them on a logistical level, where it's like, if we're so bad and we're gonna hinder you, then how did we end up the strongest? How are we gonna hinder people who are weaker than us? How are we gonna be like a burden on folks that we rank above?
So to be fair, I just gotta say, like, even if they did make the top rank or whatever within this competition, that's not fighting out in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? There's a completely different environment, and then on top of that, like, if shooting another neighbor is, and not being able to disarm them, but really having to like shoot them because they have some type of crazy ability that they, that disarming them wouldn't work, right? If it came down to that situation, if you can't shoot somebody, now that teammate is going to be dead, or worse, a whole group of them, or you and the group. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I think I think it's valid. Personally, I don't think they're wrong for that.
No, I don't think so either. I think it's like Neomiya just like trying to get his friend on board because I think like it's kind of mirroring what Tamakoma too is going through with Chica and all that. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
have more thoughts with that, but I wanted to get that out.
yeah, me too. But Hatahara says like, what if the answer is still no? Will it all have been for nothing? Everything that we would have done to make it that far? And Inukai's like, well, we're always trying to get to the top spot anyway. So, you know, in a sense, we're just going at it like we always do. Like we would do this whether this was the condition or not. You know, and Ninomiya adds in that like it may take longer than expected, but mark my words, leadership will acknowledge us as away mission material. That mission's meant for all 5 of us. You hear me, Hatahara? And Hatahara's like, yeah. She smiles, and it's kind of a cute little moment. We cut to Emma, who is talking to Hatahara right now, and Emma is also surprised that the Ninomiya squad was turned down for away mission. And she's like, yeah, but, you know, leadership gets to call the shots. And they said, did they give you a reason? And she's like, yeah, they don't think I can do it because I can't shoot others. And I should have known. And he says, and Emma adds that, like, it doesn't make any sense. Toma gets the green light, but they said no to you. I guess implying that Toma is just a weaker sniper. But, yeah, Hatara says, like, this, I just feel like I let
LOL.
Yeah. And he's like, I just feel like I let my squad mates down. Let my squad mates down, especially since I was the one who was like really trying to get us on board to begin with. And Emma reassures him, is like, it's fine. The Ninomiya's squad seems always so laid back anyway, you know. And he's like, well, sooner or later, leadership's going to realize that your obvious talent, Satohara, and maybe you'll even manage to overcome your problems someday. And there's a pause, and Hatohara says, like, that's kind of you, Yuzuru, but I don't think I ever will. There's just something wrong with me. And I think she hangs up after saying, I'm sorry. And shortly after that, Hatohara vanished. And we cut to Ninomiya, who looks stressed. He's like, fuck. And they get a call that it's meeting time. And Ninomiya is feeling the weight of responsibility more than he should. Oh, I think they're like using their telepathy thing to talk to each other. So, you know, they're trying to keep a light-hearted mood for him because he's pretty much taking on the burden of Hatahara's disappearance. Kido mentions that they have a cover story for Hatahara's disappearance, saying that Hatahara received a disciplinary discharge after a violation of involving Borders classified secrets. And they already told everybody. He's just letting them know. And on top of that, because of this incident, Ninomiya has been demoted to B rank. And during the next season, they won't be allowed to rise back up. So I guess they basically were banished from being A rank ever again. And he says, any objections? And Ninomiya says none. So, you know, everybody is reading now what Hatahara did, and Emma is in complete shock. We cut to him with Kageura's squad, who are kind of like talking about it. And they're just wondering what's going on with her. Like, this doesn't seem right. And Kageura mentions that, like, well, she was dying to go on the away mission, right? Maybe flunking the test sent her into spiraling despair, basically. And Emma, like, points out that she actually passed that test. It's just leadership stood in her way. And he's like, if only I had taken the time to hear her out. So, you know, it's, yeah, they're just trying to figure out what's going on right now. But the operator for Kageura's squad mentions that, like, the only option is to call her out themselves. And Emma's like, call her out. How do we do that? And she basically says, via TV, you know, Arashiyama squad gets to make TV appearance. Why don't we do that? And Kageura's like, you're just going to ask them for a favor? He's like, no point in that. But it's got to be Emma because, you know, he'll call Hatahara out and she'll get in touch. There's nobody closer to her than him. And she's like, "What do you say, Yuzuru?" And they're like, "Okay," and it's nice. They approach Nezumi, who's like the PR guy for Border, and ask him basically to be a PR squad. And
The Japanese counterpart to Owen Wilson.
yeah, Ka-chow, you guys want to be a PR squad? Oh wow,
Oh, wow.
wow, that's crazy, man. And basically it's like, you guys want to be a PR squad? Are you sure? And they're like, yep. What could be wackier than putting a squad like full of oddballs like us on the air? And Nezumi is like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
I don't know about this,
I was
dog.
like, a lot of things could be wrong with that.
Yeah. And Zoe's like, well, we'd be appealing to a whole different demographic than our Arashiyama squad, because Yuzuru is so young. He's like the little kid on the block. And Emma's like basically just like, please let us do this. And Nezumi is like, yes, I've heard you. I will consider the matter, but you know that you'll also need approval from the commander and the director, right? And they're like, yeah, for a second. Like they think they've made a step forward. And Nezumi starts to walk away, saying that, like, I do feel bad for them, but the risks far outweigh the merits, and it doesn't matter. I'll simply tell them no after mulling them over. And Kageura, of course, because of his side effect, feels all that shit. And he says, "Yo, Mister." He pulls up to Nezumi, and he's like, "Real nice, real nice of you giving them a false sense of hope while you stall." And he's like, "What are you talking about? I said I'd consider." He's like, and Kageura just cuts him off, saying like, "That pity of yours cuts deep. You hear me?" And he uppercuts Nezumi, sending him flying. And the very next day, there is a notice at Border saying that in light of Agent, I thought his name was Nezumi, but his name is Netsuki. But he says, like, in light of Agent Kageura's assault of PR director Netsuki, Kageura has been demoted to B rank and cannot advance to being. Oh, they were A rank at this point. Actually, it turns out, and they cannot advance back to A rank during the second season. So, yikes. So that's why.
So that's what happened.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Damn, they were really skilled.
They broke his neck. He has like a caster. He has like a collar on his neck. But Zoe was basically like, well, we're lucky we didn't get fired outright, because if Kakizaki hadn't like kissed serious butt like he did, I bet Kage's career would have been on the chopping block too. They're just like kind of grateful that's all they got away with. And Kageura is like, well, fuck that shit. I can't help it. Stuff like that pisses me off.
Yeah.
So, that was a nice little moment for Kageura. I love Kageura for that.
Oh yeah.
Sticking up for his people.
I mean, he couldn't help it, but still.
Well, he felt it. He could have. He only felt the emotion. It was his choice to go up and punch Netsuki for that.
Man, he would have did that shit regardless.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, still, that he held it down for his squad.
Yeah, I love that.
That's why he's the captain.
So they're basically like, well, it's back to square one with the search for Hatohara, and Emma's like, well, whatever. I guess we should give up on that. I mean, she left without a word. She obviously doesn't want to see any of us. And Kageura's like, come on, Yuzuru. He's like, well, I've already accepted it, and I'm sorry you all had to coddle me. And now we cut to the present, where Emma is like, Hatohara's in the neighborhood? And Ninomiya explains, like, yes, and there's a high chance that Hatohara walked off base with some triggers and teamed up with a non-border entity and smuggled herself into the neighborhood. So, they're like, wait, she smuggled herself with people like that are not in border? And they're like, I understand on a logical level why she would do such a thing. From her point of view, she was stuck wondering if Border would ever let her join an away mission. However, why would that fool vanish without a word to you or her squad mates and choose to ally herself with outsiders? He's like, as you were so eager to point out, perhaps my approach was problematic. and maybe I did indeed drive Hatahara away, but that doesn't mean I will take any of this lying down. I need her reasons directly, and that is my goal on this upcoming mission. And that's where the chapter ends. Josh, what did you think about World Trigger chapter 236?
This was an interesting chapter. World Trigger doesn't they don't do flashback. They don't do flashbacks super frequently. At least not like deep flashbacks. Actually, I don't know. I feel like I'm talking on my ass. We get a lot of flashbacks for the characters. It's not. Yeah. Let me not say that. Well, anyway, this has been a little mystery for a long time in World Trigger. This is kind of one of those, one of those storylines that it doesn't come up a lot, but when it does, it like reminds you, and you're like, oh yeah, like this is a whole. Because there's still things we don't know, right? We don't know how the hell Hatahara ended up in the neighborhood at all. Like, how did we go from her, learning about the squad being demoted? I mean, learning about not being able to go on the away mission because of her skills to just disappearing, and then into the neighborhood at that. Like, how does Ninomiya know that for sure? Like, there's something he knows, but he doesn't. Oh wait.
No, Ninomiya doesn't know how she got through.
Oh, right, he doesn't. No, they mention it here. I guess I kind of glanced over it. It says there's a high chance that Hadahara walked off the base with some triggers teamed up with a non-border entity and smuggled herself into the neighborhood. How though? How the
Well,
fuck do you get
like
into the
Chica's.
neighborhood?
It's assumed that she went with Chica's brother as well. Like, he was one of the people who also disappeared into the neighborhood.
Oh, right. That's the link between Hatahara and Chica herself. Okay. Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, a lot of mystery here. So it was cool seeing that side of Ninomiya as well. Like, I mean, he's always been the stern, serious type, and he still is in the past, no doubt. But he really does care about his squad. He has a lot of heart. He just expresses it, in a different way, and he even sympathizes with the fact that his teammate couldn't shoot, and he thought creatively like, "Yo, we can get around that. So fucking what? We still put in work." So like, Ninomiya is really starting to blossom into this deeper, reliable character. Like that kind of archetype that I guess I didn't predict that being the case, at least not at this point. But yeah, he's that nigga. I mean, even him going over to the other organization member and asking him to train, like another fellow shooter to train him. I thought that was really interesting too, because he asked to teach him how to shoot in a certain way, I guess. But I was wondering if he was learning that so that he could help Hatahara. I don't know. Or maybe so that he could better support her with his own shooting. That's dope. Ninomiya is cool, and he's gonna have a lot of shining moments in the neighborhood. I know that. He gonna definitely have his moment when he pull up and save everybody and provide a whole lot of fucking firepower. Him and Nasu. Nasu's still low key my favorite.
Natsu?
Nasu. Yeah,
Nasu.
the other shooter. She's another like top 5 shooter.
No, I remember her. Yeah. Nasu's
yeah,
great.
she was really dope.
She defeated one of the Galapola invaders.
Yeah, she smoked them. By herself, really. Yeah, she has all the custom, the super customized bullet tracks and shit.
No, she uses the same bullets as other people, but she is able to like move them in real time. She's one of the few people who can do that.
Oh, is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually surprised. I thought that.
Like, I think with her Viper,
I guess the way she and
with the Viper bullet is a bullet that you set a trajectory ahead of time, and it follows that trajectory. But she can program a trajectory like as it's happening.
And
So
that's just with her skill. Not
yeah,
like
that's
she
with her
has
skill.
any
It's
type
not
of
a skill
hidden
that
special
many other,
ability.
like it's her and I think Izumi who can do that.
Izumi is the other girl?
Izumi is the number 1 shooter guy.
Oh, right. Yeah, there's the girl that's the number 2 shooter. Remember, she had like the bubble looking trigger. Like her shots. It was when Galapolo invaded as well, and we seen it. We didn't really get to see her fight too much though, but her bullets looked like goop. It was kind of cool. Anyway, I'm trying to think if I have any more thoughts. This kind of brought up. I guess this chapter really made me think about Chica's development again, and how like far she's come. Like from when they identified that she couldn't really shoot people like after a couple rounds. It was kind of crazy because everyone started making it a thing, and then it became something they had to focus on.
Yeah.
But she overcame it. You know, that was against Ninomiya's squad, no less. Nah, she shot. No, that was her first kill, right? That was her first real kill, like shooting somebody without like the lead bullets and stuff.
Yeah, Chica, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just it made me think about her development.
Yeah.
This is such a great series. All these things kind of link into each other in a way.
Yeah.
So maybe him having this conversation with Emma is gonna help both of them as snipers because he had the intent to want to help out his teammate Hatahara, so maybe he can teach them some new stuff too as snipers, and then with the other, the number 1 sniper guy there as well. It's just good stuff. A lot of potential here. Ima and Chico are gonna come out of this fucking savages.
Yeah.
Chica might even learn some type of shooting skills, yo. That would be fucking crazy.
Well, Chica is a skilled sniper. Like she's not like the best or anything, but she's like pretty good. She's probably above average as a sniper. She just has like recently gained the ability to like shoot people.
Yeah.
Which, is important. I like to I remember when they pulled the parallel between what Hatahara was going through and Chica. And Chica's like inability to shoot people was more like out of fear, for the most part. And Hatahara seems to have like such a hardcore ideological thing for shooting people. I know there was like a parallel drawn between them that Chica was just like, no, I think you're perfectly capable of doing it. I think you're just scared for whatever reason. Where Hatahara was just like, it wasn't because she was scared, because she was able to like shoot at people, like to disarm them. It was more that like there was something off about her regardless. I don't know. We have to obviously find out.
And you're right. It is a little deeper because Chica couldn't shoot at people at all. It was more than just killing them. I think maybe it's just as simple as that with Hatahara, is that she just truly does not want to kill anybody. I mean, that would be enough for me personally, but man, it'd be way more interesting if there was something deeper with it, like maybe her ability doesn't allow her to or something. I don't know. Maybe something devastating happened and she knows, like, I can't kill people because it'll fucking erase their existence. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know that much about Hatahara. This is actually the most time we've spent with Hatahara in the entirety of the series. So, yeah, there's only so much we could draw on, I guess. But I guess as far as my thoughts, this was like literally I guess this will be my second place one in terms of RGC. I was really like debating with this one because I love the development with Ninomiya and how we're seeing like the other facets of him, because for a long time he was just this hard ass fucking guy who was just an elite. he was a beast. He didn't seem very emotional and very caring. But as the exams go on, we just see that he's just like kind of a high strung guy, but he deeply cares for people, and he has a lot of respect for his teammates, and he's very similar to Osamu in a lot of senses. Not in skill, obviously, but he's just like a guy who wants to help his people. So I really, it was nice to see that side of Ninomiya, to see him like stressing over the fact that he won't be able to help his teammate accomplish her goals. Really like made him upset, And on the flip side, we also see like Kageura. It's funny how both of them got like kind of disbarred for looking out for it, like because they had impulsive team members. Like on one end, we have Ninomiya, who had the impulsive team member, in Hatohara, who just like did what she did and like caused them to be kicked out of A rank. And Kageura has Kageura squad. Like Kageura squad has Kageura, who was also impulsive enough to get them kicked out of the A ranks for different reasons. But Kageura is one of my favorite characters in this series, and this was like a really good shining moment for him. I'm a sucker.
This is a core moment for his character.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for these like troublemakers with a heart of gold type guys. These are my favorite types of characters, dudes who like are badasses, but they're very sweet people, and they're bad boys for their friends. Yeah, but I had a great time reading this chapter. Oh, Gingerbread just came out. My cat Gingerbread. But yeah, it was this was just like a great chapter to read. Hatahara is one of the looming mysteries over this series for a long time, and I'm glad we got a little Hatohara, and I'm glad we got some knowledge about who she is and why and like how Ninomiya saw her. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about World Trigger. Fantastic chapter all around. But yeah, that's all I got for now. You ready to?
Hatahara was Ima's mentor, right?
Yes.
Like she
taught him how to shoot and all that stuff.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you ready to move on, Josh?
Yeah.
Alrighty. With that being said, let's move onward. Undead Unluck. And with that, I'm going to toss it over to Josh.
All right, chapter 1, number 173. That Jerk as He Stands is by Yoshifumi Tozuka. Last week we wrapped up Chikara's arc. He decided to join the organization after witnessing Uma's and delivered a clutch unmove attack that froze the color with a OUR, just so you guys know. Froze him in place so that Fuko could deliver the finishing blow, and then he was like, "Yeah, I want to be a part of this life." And even though Fuko didn't want that to be the case, she's into free will, so she let him do it. So we cut back to the organization, and they're, I guess, deciding it's time to skip ahead into the future. So they're deciding who's going to stay. I'm trying to. Okay, sorry guys. I'm trying to figure out exactly who's not going. It's not clear. Is Chikara going to the future with them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
He's there. He's there already.
Yeah. You're right. Okay, I'm still stuck on the first page. So yeah, they're all there's a bunch of different union members. So one of them that's staying is Unbreakable, the old man, because his daughter is born, or his granddaughter, I guess, is born, and he wants to be around to raise her. Which that makes total sense. 15 years I think I think they were going ahead 16 years. Yeah, 16 years that's their whole childhood right there. So understandable. But mostly everybody else is staying. I think one of the scientists is going to the future with Nico. Literally because the other scientist was like, "Yo, we need time to learn so we can surpass you." I was kind of fucked up, but I guess like wait, so you want to get rid of me for 16 years? I mean, I guess
Alright.
whatever. So
Cool.
the book Apocalypse is like, damn it, I hate that y'all are using me the right way and successfully at that. Shit. 16 years skipped. Okay. And Nico was like, damn, like you oh no, so Apocalypse is trying to tease Fuko and say, "Oh, you might have missed negators, like skipping ahead. How you feel about that? Dickhead." And Fuko's like, no, I'm not worried. There's none guaranteed. Nico was like, what the fuck you mean? Like how do you know? Like because he makes a good point saying like, yo, this loop is different from the previous one. So there's no guarantee that everyone's gonna come in at the same time, right? And she's like, nah, trust me. I asked somebody. And Nico immediately is just like, yo, is this some bullshit? Just keep it a stack, Fuko. Is this some some non-scientific, unempirical evidence having bullshit, Fuko? And she says yes. And I'm not gonna explain it to you because you ain't gonna believe it anyway, and it's just gonna get you tight. We cut to May 2nd, 2015. I guess literally the next day after that, Fuko is chilling in Paris, France, stunting, and she's talking about how she sticks out in places like this. Yeah, because you look like you don't give a fuck about your outer appearance, Fuko. God damn. You could dress nice sometimes. You could
Yeah.
throw on a dress sometimes.
You
You
wear
do
that
your
same
hair
shirt for
sometimes.
16 years.
Jesus. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. For centuries.
200 years.
It says good luck. I get it. But you could get other clothes that say good luck on it. You're Fuko. You own this world.
I hope that at the
basically.
very least she has like multiple copies of that shirt and she's just wearing them.
I suppose. Well, anyway. So she's talking about 200 years on this planet, and I still stick out. Okay. But she's thinking, so she's waiting for someone to show up, and she's thinking, like, if she can't guess that I'm here, then her power isn't really valid, and she's not going to be chosen to be a negator. But if she does guess right, then we'll be able to carry out our plan. A promise a 4.8 billion year old promise that I made to the both of you. Crazy. And here comes Latla pulling up, and she's like, damn, like you said we reunite in 16 years, but you never specified a date. Like, how the fuck was I supposed to find you? And Fugo's like, oh, I never doubted you. Come on. And just for everyone that may not remember, Latla has, and because I didn't remember this, she has fortune telling abilities that are separate from her negator ability, which I forgot what it was already. But anyway, she just has fortune powers just because. I guess there are mutants and stuff in this world. She should have got the rest of the mutants. That would have been helpful.
Yeah, she's Destiny
Anyway.
right now.
She's pretty. Yeah, she is. Yeah, she is. Right. So, so apparently Fuko met Latla when she was like, I guess 5 or something like that, really young. And that was the same day that her little sister's incurable illness got discovered. And like she made a promise, Fuko made a promise to Fuko. I mean, Fuko made a promise to Latla saying, "Hey, I'm gonna help you guys out in 16 years. Just remember to pull up to me." And it's hilarious because like Fuko forgot to tell her what day to meet her on, because it could have been any point of that year, or like maybe that same day that year, but she didn't specify. And like I was like, oh, I like, did you like, were you relying on my fortune telling skills to like get us there? And Fuko's in her head thinking, nah, I just forgot. And she said, yeah, of course I believed in you. And Lala's like, yo, you lying, right? And she said, yeah. Just like that. So anyway, Lala gets straight down to business. She's like, ooh, so what's the deal? What's good? You either gonna tell me what the information you got, or am I gonna look into your future with this crystal ball here? And Fuko's like, calm down. I'm gonna let you know what the situation is. So I guess she tells her about everything that happened in the previous loop, with and I guess she gives her probably the whole negator story too, et cetera, et cetera. She gets a lot up to speed just like we are, and lets them know about how they killed the sister when their negator abilities activated, and how they basically kept going hard to reverse that throughout the rest of the loop. So it's funny because Lala makes a point and says that you guys were trying to save the world, whereas our only goal was to save my little sister, which is really cynical. But Fugo's like, I don't know. Fugo says that, oh, does that mean you can't trust me after all? And she's like, no, that's not it. I'm just thinking about how he's a good man after all. That jerk Rip, that is. Oh, yeah, Rip is a edgy boy,
The
so to
edgiest
speak.
boy.
You know what I mean? So it's got a dark side.
He's a bad boy.
So
He's a
I
bad
guess
boy with a heart of gold.
the fact that he cared about the sister so much to try to save her and stuff, and that they went on a lifelong journey to try to revive her, meant that he's not that bad of a guy.
Not at all.
Yeah, well, I don't know, whatever. So, um, she makes a point, and she's like, "Yo, like, he ain't trying to get at me, right? Even though I look just like my sister, because I guess Rip and the sister had a thing." And she said, "Does that mean I'm not attractive?" That kind of pisses me off. Just like she goes back and forth, like in the same breath. But Fuko. Fuko tells her that Rip giving his all for your little sister's sake did play a part, but the most important reason is because you're so kind. Basically telling her like, yo, it was really Fuko's smart. She knows how to butter someone up.
Yeah.
But anyway, so skipping ahead, getting to the point, like last, like, what should I do in this loop to save my sister? And Fuko doesn't really know, right? I guess she doesn't really know. I'm kind of guessing she doesn't have a concrete answer to this, and I'll talk more about that later. But Fuko says to herself that she'll bring change for sure, and she's like, "Listen, this strategy involves your two abilities. So the best option is to make you two negators. You already meet the conditions, Miss Latla, but Mr. Rip on the other hand." So Latla's like, if you're concerned about whether he's skilled enough to become the vessel for unrepair, right? Because you have to meet the conditions to get unrepair in the first place, I guess. But he's made a name for himself in the field as an authority in the field of cardiology. Has been globetrotting, learning. Like basically, I guess Fuko, or like 16 years ago, set that plan in motion and told them what they should aim to do for Lila to work on her fortune telling skills, and for Rip to be the best surgeon he can be, in order for them to both gain their negator abilities. So and Lila's saying that Rip is even more amazing than his past self. He says, I'm positive that jerk as he stands is even more amazing than his past self. That's where the title came from. Very weird
Phrasing.
English. Or perhaps I'm the ignorant one.
It's
And
not
then we get a
technically
picture of
wrong,
Rip.
but it's going out of its way to sound weird.
Yeah, right. Like, all right, TJ Kubo. This is the second time I referenced him. What's going on? Death and Strawberry and anyway.
Day
Yeah.
aside.
And I was on Dead on Luck. Yeah. Whoa. Cool. Christian, would you like to give your thoughts
Well,
this week?
I enjoyed this a fair bit. Rip has never really been one of my favorites, to be honest.
Neither is my, yeah.
So
same.
I'm kind of hoping this kind of turns me around on it. It is funny to me that like over the course of this second loop, Fuko has just been going to these people as children to like groom them into being soldiers for her future army. Just be like, hey, I have the solutions to all your problems, but you gotta be an adult first and fight in my war.
Work really hard, and then I'll indoctrinate you. Further.
I kid,
Yeah,
obviously,
kind
but
of crazy.
it just is a funny thing that happens in the series. But
Like when you say it out loud like that.
yeah, but you know, I mean, obviously, the context is that eventually these guys are gonna come up against a tragedy that's gonna change them anyway. So the point of this is to get ahead of that and to at the very least get their power, have them get their powers under less depressing circumstances.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this chapter a fair bit. I'm open to like this this arc changing me around on Latla and Rip. It's just that even like I don't know, I feel like I've always felt like I never knew enough about these characters in particular. Even though we've gotten a bunch of backstory on them, I still don't know why Latla can just tell the future.
She just can, bro. God has blessed her.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. I mean,
be
if there's anything that the loops have done is that they've reinforced a lot of characters that were already pretty well built in the previous loop. So these are very specific, breakdowns of each of these characters that we didn't get before. So I'm excited on that level at least to get something out of that. But those are all my thoughts, really. Josh, what did you think?
This is a cool chapter. Not I like I mentioned, I too don't really care too much about Rip and Latla, but I have a big theory. It's not very complex, but to put it frank, I think this is going to be the first time Fuko isn't successful in saving them. And I don't know. It's the feeling. It's the fact that there's been a lot of setup towards this already. Like, and you know, I just been waiting for the other shoe to fall to kind of add deeper stakes to this. And I just wonder how he's gonna go about it. Excuse me. I'm not gonna be mad if they save the little sister. That's fine. You know, it's just that I feel like if there's gonna be another tragedy, this is a sad one. And imagine like Fuko having blood on her hands. You know, like thinking that thinking that she saved the situation, but it ended up turning out a little bit worse. That would be crazy, yo. And then maybe an arc about her not being able to recover from that and, you know, having to be uplifted. That would add some complexity, some depth to this story, I believe. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I think that would be really. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that would be it would be interesting, but I don't know if they'd actually go that route because I think the point of all this is to just like have these characters not have to lose everything in order to gain their powers. It'd be weird if like only these guys got the sad thing that happened to them to happen to them again. But it could because theirs was like extra tragic. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it happening in a different way. Maybe instead of the sister dying, Latla dies, maybe.
It could very well be.
I don't know. I don't think someone needs to die for the story to be more interesting. I mean, I'm not a writer. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean. It's more like
surprised.
I think you're like talking on a more variety thing because everybody's been able to succeed so far. It feels like there should be in theory, there should be one person who's like won't make it through, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You can even give it the angle like God has finally started to truly interfere because he's like, no, Fuko, you're doing too much. You're doing too well. You dirty bitch.
Jesus.
Stop it.
You're crushing it too hard. We're gonna put a stop to this shit.
Pass your unluck to these motherfuckers. You care about everybody, right?
You care so much, huh? But yeah, were those all your thoughts?
I will spite you.
Hey,
Yeah,
you've
those are
been
my thoughts.
spited. All right. With that being said, that was Undead Unluck. And that. Oh, by the way, I do have the really good chapter of the week result. Let me actually pull it up. I forgot. I wanted to give it more time just because, like, I put
What
it
was
up.
it for last week? I missed it.
I didn't have it last week, but I did have it this week.
Okay.
We decided to do this on the day of, so it may not be the fairest poll because I just put it up immediately after we confirmed that we'd be able to do this. But World Trigger won by 1 vote,
Wow.
to be fair. So, you know, World Trigger's the audience voted really good chapter of the week. So there you go. I'm going to do the drop once I switch apps. There it is.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
And with that has been our show.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening. As per usual, you could find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Josh at JDCole_37 on Instagram, at New Gym City Josh on Twitter. Brian is at b.esp on Twitter and Instagram. Catch him when he streams video games at twitch.tv/its punchline. Email the show itself at New Gym City. Oh, follow the show at New Gym City on Twitter and Instagram. Email the show with your questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about on the pre-show chat show on our email at newgymcitypod@gmail.com, or please comment under the video version of the podcast that you're watching. Let us know what you guys think about the podcast, anything you guys want us to mention, and we'll talk about it on our pre-show chat show that we do that comes out maybe like 2 days after every pod drops. So hit us up on that. If you, while you're at it, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I know we're not very visual right now, but my computer broke down some time ago, and I'm saving up to get a new one. I'm working off of a borrowed computer, so I don't want to put it through too much stress. So until I get a new computer of my own, it's going to be audio for a while. But till then, please subscribe. Keep the channel afloat. That would be super nice of you if you appreciate the show. Or, you know, whatever works for you. We do have audio versions available on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. And yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you guys next week on New Jump City. Stay safe, New Jump citizens.
Peace out, y'all. Thanks for listening. Also, don't smoke crack.
That's a good lesson. Don't smoke crack, everyone.